Obama's presidency is wrapping up pretty soon, so let's review his job on foreign policy.
Oh boy.
I think a lot of times it's difficult for people to objectively judge it because of the constant noise. The Republicans always say everything he's done is bad, and the Democrats always say everything he's done is good. But so often the truth lies somewhere in between.
Somewhere.
So, what do you feel were the biggest failures and biggest successes of his foreign policy?
Well, let's start with successes, because I'm a very positive-minded person, so I like to think positively. I would say his single greatest success was getting the Nobel Peace Prize for doing nothing. I think that was brilliant. What's not to like? I think that, that was the best thing he did. I also, and this will raise perhaps some eyebrows, I actually think that he probably was not too far off the mark when he began making noises toward Iran. And I will tell you why. Our biggest opponent right now in the world in terms of reality, I know that's a terrible thing to introduce into any question, but is really ISIS. It's the nascent caliphate. And the only player on the ground, other than Israel, which is in a position to do much, and Russia, with whom we have other problems, the only other player on the ground whose interests in that area are anything like our own is Iran. Because they can't stand the caliphate any more than we can.
Oh.
Now, don't get me wrong. You know, I loathe the government in Iran. I wish we hadn't greased the skids for the Shah, so we weren't in this position. Oh, I'm sorry, who brought that up? But it's true. If we hadn't, if the Shah's son were on the throne of Iran, we wouldn't be having this conversation. The world would be a better place. Fortunately, Jimmy Carter also got the Nobel Peace Prize, so that it all works out. But honestly, he was not completely off the mark there, and it's something that attempting to bring in that sort of division into the Islamic world is something that a more competent person should try. As far as his failures go, well, ISIS, number one, and number two, this ridiculous Cold War with the Russians. It beggars belief that we are on a collision course with those guys. There's absolutely no reason for it. None at all. Just stupidity.
Whatever happened to that button that Hillary Clinton, the reset button? Wasn't that, we were trying to be nice, but now I guess that...
Well, you know, nice is a relative term. Of course, you know, in its root, nice means ignorant. So I suppose she was right. We are a nicer country than we were 8 years ago in terms of being more ignorant. But no, it was all drivel. I mean, it was drivel from beginning to end. This whole presidency has been drivel. And the fact of the matter is, and again, I hate bringing reality into any issue, a maiden senator, product of the Daily Machine, okay? Who would vote for that to be president of the United States? Who? And the answer is a majority twice. That's the answer. This is a man who had no background in anything tangible, and he's president of the United States. And he has some of the most incompetent, ridiculous people in the world working with him. I mean, Senator Kerry's bowing to the Iranian emissary was kind of fun to watch. He didn't lick his foot, which I thought would have been also interesting. But what do you want me to say? This is a presidency that would have been far worse had it been brighter. But fortunately, its level of stupidity somewhat minimized the damage it's done. I don't see it ever being succeeded by anything better, but it was certainly the worst heretofore. But as those who observe decaying objects can tell you, there's always room for change.
Okay.
Not hope necessarily, but certainly change.